Mark here with another thrift store toy rescue. In this case, it's a couple of these little miniature My Arcade games. Sometimes you see in other people's pics of little action figures playing them. I found not one, but two of these, different occasions, different thrift stores. Got the Pac-Man one and the Data East Classics. I'm going to show off both of these, talk about them, put a couple figures up next to them, and see if it's maybe the right kind of thing for you. So stick around. All right, and we're back from that exceptionally long intro. New intro coming, old intro sucks, new intro, best intro ever. Okay, so I'm Mark. I'm a studio owner. I'm also a real big toy collector. I'm also someone who goes to thrift stores almost every day, always looking for something different. Acquired these two miniature arcade games by a company called My Arcade. Found the Pac-Man at a red, white, and blue. A few weeks later, I found the Data East Classics at a thrift store by my house. We are going to check them out right now. I'm going to talk about both, and we're going to talk about the scale as well. So, as you can see here in the background is Snoop Dogg and Billie Eilish in their Christmas attire. They both wish everyone here happy holidays. Now on to center stage. This is the Pac-Man game I mentioned. This is the Data East Classics. As you can see the size of these things, right? I haven't looked up the exact year. I believe that this is probably something that came out first. I think they issued these where it's a single arcade game like a Galaga, a Donkey Kong, a Pac-Man in a small form factor like this. They're all cut out the same, just different graphics, colors, and a different chip runs inside of it. Whereas this looks like something that came out a little bit later as they started mining more and more video game companies in different ways to repackage their content. If we look at, same company though, if we look at the back of this, you can see that this has a battery compartment for 4 AA batteries, as well as a Type C, I think this is Type C USB plug-in. There's also a headphone jack. These are volume controls, in case you're wondering what that is. This does have a speaker in it. You will hear it in a little bit as soon as I fire it up. I am missing, on this one, I am missing the back cover. Not a big deal. Works both with batteries, this particular unit here, and with the AC. On the front, there is the on-off switch, which looks like a little coin insert slot. There's a reset and a start button on the top, and then there is our 4 controls. Now, the joystick was broken off on this. Remember, I got it at a thrift store, didn't buy it new, did it on eBay, saw it, $1.99, rescued it. It would have been there, possibly thrown in the trash eventually. Now, the little ring, or the screw part, was still stuck in there, and I took it out and I have it. So I could possibly make a mold or sculpey some type of joystick and glue it to that and put it back in. Of course, I also have the joystick on this other one, which I could use as well to create a second one, at least visually look right, if it didn't necessarily work quite as well as this does. So you're probably wondering, well, you know, does the thing work, or how does it look, etc., etc. So power it up, and you'll see that there is, you know, little graphics come up, and it's a small screen, folks. It's a small screen. If you're playing this It might be cool if you're like a kid on a car trip or something, but at this point, just can't come close to like what you can get on a phone. But at the time, you know, who knows, probably I'm guessing 2011, just gonna throw that out there. Maybe I'll look it up later and we'll put that on the screen. We're not gonna look it up. But this is kind of fun. It moves okay when you're playing it. The actual gameplay seems to be all right. It's not as fun as the full-size arcade game. It's probably better than the Atari 2600. The graphics already, I can tell, are better even at that small of a scale. But this is particularly cool if you're going to do something with action figures where they're at an arcade setting. And I have a few, as you might have guessed from the title of my channel, on hand that we can compare. My favorite 6-inch subjects. It's a character that everybody universally doesn't like, so I have adopted her as a type of orphaned pop culture icon. This is a Gwenpool, character that, to be honest, does not need to exist. So when she's standing at the arcade game, it looks about right. Now it looks a little big as far as the width goes, and it feels a little kind of tall, right? Because I think arcade games kind of came up to about the head, but it's not too bad, right? If you can see her standing there, it looks about right. It's nothing kind of, you know, it's not a, I don't know why she's got the sword. It's not exceptionally weird, is what I'm saying. It may not be the most exact. Like if this is 1/12, this might be 1/11, or maybe not 1/10, somewhere in there. What I'm saying is it gets kind of close. Close enough for photos. And of course, it's all how you frame it up, right? Because you don't have to show the whole thing, you just have to show a portion of it. And I found that you can make this thing, this little Pac-Man game, look pretty good. Now, I've seen other arcade games in people's action figure pics, if you look around on Instagram at Toy Photography, and I don't know if it's this series from my arcade, or if it's something that the guy made himself, or if it's something from a kit, or if it's something from a small boutique company, assuming that this is not a small boutique company to begin with, but at least big enough to get a Pac-Man license, right? So I never knew exactly where those came from and if it's this or not, but when I saw this, I thought this is the perfect little arcade game set piece, especially since it happens to work in this case. So if you do get your camera up there and you get the screen, there's always something on the screen to show people, and you don't have to do it in Photoshop. All right, let's move on to the next arcade game. This was scored not long afterwards. Now on this one, pointing it out to people who are excited by these videos, you'll see the speaker, the headphone jack with the controls just like the other one, but no ability for batteries. So they have moved on, or this is big enough to where they're not gonna have people put anything bigger than a AA. You know, like this would take a D battery or something, and they're not gonna do that. They're just gonna say it's you know, a little USB extension only, and that's fine. I think the batteries is just compartment is kind of a nicety at this point. So similar kind of deal. We have the coin slot. Turns it on. You can see the little lights activated. Then on the top we've got our traditional joystick controller, but we also have 4 buttons for more complicated moves like kicks, punches, throwing things, that sort of stuff. Coin, you can keep feeding it coins. There is a back button, not sure exactly how that's used. Star button to make selection. And on this, it is not just one game, right? This is a menu, right? A menu of games. And that's what I think makes this particularly kind of badass, because you can, there you go with the joystick, you can scroll through 3, 6, 12, we're on 18 games, 24 games, 30 games. I believe, total of 40 games. And the games are anywhere from Bad Dudes to, you know, there's some sports games, soccer, tennis, bowling. There is a whole bunch of Burger Time games, Super Burger Time, Ultra Burger Time. There's just dumb games on here like Caveman Ninja. I've never heard of that before. I'm probably not going to play it. Just saying it's on here. And with this, you get a whole bunch of what I would describe as the Bronze Age of arcade game classics. These are strictly, in my opinion, D-rank games. These all look terrible, but you've probably played all of them at some point, and it's at a point where how bad could it be? There's also plenty of like fantasy Golden Axe style games on here. And of course, you get cutscenes with these games. They're more complicated. Also, the screen that they give you on this arcade game is more of a 16 by 9. I don't know if that's exactly 16 by 9, but it allows for pretty cool side scrollers, which there are a million side scrollers in this little guy here. Well, it's actually not bad. It's about as good as like an iPhone 4 or 5, you know, in terms of the size of the screen and the quality of the graphics. So how does this compare in terms of like putting an action figure by it? So if you put a 6-inch Marvel Legends similar style character by it, you can see that you know, the game's pretty huge. It's pretty out of scale and doesn't necessarily work. So if you go to like a 12-inch figure, right? Well, so if we go to a 12-inch figure, so you can see with a figure next to it that it actually looks pretty good when you raise it up about 1.5 inches, right? If you give it 1.5 inches, it's about the right width for a single player, for a single person to stand at. It's about the right height. This character here is supposed to be kind of exceptionally tall. It is the Snoop Dog. He's in his Robert Johnson pinstripe suit at the arcade game, of course. And, you know, Billie Eilish is looking on in her stripy pants there. And it looks pretty good. It looks pretty cool. It looks as good as the Gwenpool and the Squirrel Girl looked next to the Pac-Man. And so I would say that if you are someone looking for these small arcade games to put in your toy photography pics next to characters, you know, you want to make a little arcade scene, right? Something that we're all kind of, you know, do at least one time, right? It's good for at least some content, characters by an arcade game. Look for the smaller Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Galaga size ones for 6-inch characters, and then look for something like this big giant Data East Classics, or anything that's going to be multi, you know, a company that's given them multiple game licenses to package into one unit. They seem to put it in this bigger one. You can tell it if you're looking on eBay auctions, if it is a bigger one, if it has the wide 16 by 9-ish screen versus the traditional sort of 4:3 screen that you get on the Pac-Man. Also, the extra buttons is a giveaway, as there's just not enough space. They've put like a Pac-Man, etc. Ghost on it, graphic. So my take is that you should probably have, just like I do, one of each of these for your two main scales that you're probably going to be using, 6-inch, 12-inch guys, and look for them on eBay. I saw them on there. They don't go for a lot of money, but they're also not cheap, and they don't have to be working. In fact, if you get one just for parts, it might be better. There's a lot of different options as to what you could actually do with the screen, but you don't actually really need the screen on. You just need it as a prop, and they make a cool prop. You of course could very easily, cut out anything and paint it and decorate it and make your own. And in fact, I might do a little bit of that with these to sort of fill them out, make a couple dummies next to a real one. Just extras in the background. They do it all the time in the movies. So that's it for this episode. I would encourage people who liked this video and want to check out other videos that involve Pac-Man, check out my Pac-Man RC set video. And if you're the kind of person who's into thrift store toy rescues, sort of like this one, also check out the RC Pac-Man video, as that is a thrift store rescue as well. And with that, I'll catch everyone on the next one.